Well, hello, beautiful people. How are we doing today? We are back at it once again with the book 3 Feet from Gold by Sharon Leckler and Dr. Greg Reid. Um, and this is chapter 21, part one. And because of the fact that they go into the appendix and the closing words and all that kind of stuff, we're going to break this into two. And then I'll definitely do like a full review, another video to do the full review to wrap it up. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm still a little bit under the weather, so I could talk a little bit about where we're at so far. Um, because this is just been a book of perseverance, if anything, right? Um, and given that this book is still relevant today. I mean, if you guys, I don't know, comment down below if you've ever read the book Think and Go Rich. Because that book was written during the Great Depression, and knowing how many millionaires that book created around that time, so we could say that this is a downturn when it comes to where we are in life. I mean, usually you can always say that. I mean, but with the economy and uncertainty of certain things. But this is where the most millionaires are made, is when people are looking in the opposite direction. They're sitting there complaining about money, they don't have enough. And then there's those brilliant ideas of people who are not um, buying into that. And they're saying this is a gold mine. This is a great opportunity to start, making a lot of money. And it's books like this that are going to help to get people through that, because as you're going through your adversities and your challenges, now you understand you just don't quit no matter what. And that is the common theme, no matter what. And making sure that who you associate with, regardless, even if there are people that don't necessarily have the same vision as you, that's okay, right? Because now you have people who have constantly shown that how they created the kind of wealth that they want. They were able to work through it, and they kept pushing through no matter what, because they knew they were 3 feet from gold. And someone who hasn't done that would easily just say, oh, it's time to throw in the towel. It's time to do something else, because they're looking at time as if time is relevant, right? But that in itself is a limiting belief, because the way that the universe works, time is irrelevant. There is no time, right? We only know perceived time because that's how we've been taught. That's a taught, learned, that's a programming that we've built up. But when it comes to the universe and everything that moves in nature, it's all natural. There is no timeline, right? We've been able to time certain things, but to know the exact specifics of when something is going to occur, we don't know. And a lot of times obstacles are put into our lives to literally test us to see what are the things that we need to still work on, or who is the person that we need to become in order for us to get the things that we say that we want, right? And that goes back to that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, an understanding of the concepts of, when you're thinking a certain way, you live a certain lifestyle. But when you think the other way, like the rich dad did, and you're taught those philosophies, or like this book is teaching, well, you're going to look at life a lot differently than somebody who doesn't have those things. And so that's very important to keep in mind when you are, you know, figuring out, well, who do I listen to, right? As I go through this journey. And if these people don't have what you have, and they're not learning or understanding these concepts with you, they're going to look at things very differently. So when things do feel like, oh my gosh, it's definitely gotten worse before it's gotten better, they're going to tell you to quit immediately. But you don't listen to that side. You don't listen to that, because those people don't, 10 times out of 10, they don't have what you're looking to get. So you got to look at the people who have what you want, and make sure that you're only listening to their advice. And they're going to tell you something completely different. And that was definitely something that I learned from my mentor, and I continue to learn now. Um, and it's made all the difference in the world because they give different advice, especially when stuff is getting really challenging, and it feels like you do want to quit. But this video is this video series, this channel, everything is built around the idea of creating success principles, how to become successful in anything that you want to accomplish. And the key is just not to quit. Even if you took these same principles as an athlete, and you're trying to be an actor or whatever, like it's like yes, there are going to be people who are going to tell you, oh, you've done this for so long, you need to do something else. But do they have what you have? You see what I'm saying? But then the people that do have it, they just never quit because they didn't see it as time as like, oh my gosh, I'm wasting time. No, you're learning knowledge. You're becoming the individual that you need to become. And that's very important. So again, you guys, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I definitely want to do like a full review on this, on this book at the end, and then we can talk about it. And if you guys want to, definitely comment down below questions that you might have. But I hope you guys are really enjoying this. I know that I am. And we want to get into at least the part one of this chapter, and then we'll get into the later stuff, like the appendix and the closing words and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and jump right into just the chapter itself, which is called the launch. So let's do that right now. Here we go.
When a group of individual minds are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through that alliance becomes available to every individual mind in the group. Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill.
Chapter 21. The Launch. With the last piece in place, having Sharon Lechter at the helm of the project, the book project now moved rapidly. Buckland's yacht party only verified that Greg was on the right track. He felt a renewed excitement about the book. It was as if someone had written a script for him. Sharon continued lining up interview after interview, bringing in new faces with new messages and igniting their excitement for the project. More importantly, she set up meetings with her contacts in publishing. Just as the junkman had sought expert counsel that brought him millions, the new author was following the same path by the new association with Sharon. Suddenly, people with whom they shared the proposal nearly fell out of their chairs in anticipation, stating there couldn't be a better time for a project such as this. They pointed out that every time you open the newspaper across the nation, the headlines read, "Economic disaster," "Housing bubble burst," "Foreclosures set new record," "Bankruptcies increased 300% in 18 months," "Corporate mismanagement continues," "Government bailout needed," "Global recession without end in sight." With the stock market in shambles, there was overwhelming agreement that the world could really use this new book. It would provide hope and guidance from successful business leaders of the current generation who willingly shared how they had been able to persevere and keep their fire of passion burning, despite adversity, how by not giving up, they were able to allow their miracles to happen. On one of their weekly calls, Sharon updated Greg and Don on her progress. "Hi, Greg. Hi, Don," she said as she joined their call. "I just got off the line with another publisher. They also agreed that this is a great time for a book about helping people maintain a positive outlook through these dark economic times. Even without my prompting, they mentioned that Think and Grow Rich was published during the Great Depression, that it gave millions the hope and courage to find the confidence not only to survive the Depression, but to build great new businesses, businesses that brought financial stability back to their communities, businesses that created great personal wealth. I hope that our book will provide that same hope and courage to people today." "It will," Greg shouted. "In fact, I now realize more than ever that the very nuggets of wisdom we wrote about were what kept me going through the tough times." "Actually," Sharon added thoughtfully, "I was facing a personal challenge of my own when this project came along. But it's hard to feel sorry for yourself and think that you are all alone while you are constantly reading and rereading what these great leaders had gone through themselves. I thought, if they could persevere, I could too. Whenever I had a particularly challenging day, I would focus on this project and find the courage and faith to keep going. Sharon continued. In fact, all these experts had tremendous faith in common. They had faith that if they found their passion, applied their talent, and took action with the right association, eventually good things would come to pass. Just like you, Greg. Even in your darkest hour, you found the faith to keep going. In fact, I think we need to add faith to be part of the success equation.
Mm-hmm.
It's what binds all the other pieces together, she added. So now the equation would read, the sum of P plus T times A plus F equals success. Don said, I couldn't agree more. Faith is an essential element of perseverance and is the secret sauce of the success equation. I'm confident that this book will provide the hope, faith, and courage that so many people need today. Now we just need a publisher that agrees with us and has the same faith we all do, Greg said hopefully. Agreed. And it appears as though the various publishers I've talked to are finally starting to get it. Now, let's see who steps to the plate and becomes the voice behind these great leaders, Sharon said. Buckland asked us to give him and the others an update when we hear back with any offers from the publishers. Okay, let's set up a meeting next month. That should give us time to hear back from everyone we've met with. The pages of the calendar flew by until the date of the meeting arrived. Greg and Sharon met Don Green and the great John Buckland in the World Capitol Building's boardroom. Buckland opened the conversation. Okay, kids, let's hear it. What's the status of the project? Sharon answered. The fact is, we didn't get a single offer.
Oh.
The shoulders of the guests dropped. We actually had 4 offers, she continued with a smile.
Nice.
They all cheered. That's wonderful, Don Green said. Which one are we going with? Great question, Greg said. Sharon passed out a schedule of the publishers and their respective offers, along with a detailed spreadsheet. Over the next 3 hours, the group argued, discussed, and debated the opportunities before them, weighing each pro and con until they decided on one final organization. This is it. This is the one, Don said, pointing to the thoroughly marked greaseboard before them. Do we all agree that this is our publisher? Agreed, they all said in unison. Let's show them our appreciation by getting out there and really promoting the book in a major way, suggested Buckland. We owe it to them. We owe it to the people you interviewed, and we owe it to the folks who are going to read this book and create value from the messages within. Green added, let's make it a huge success as a tribute to Charlie. Charlie Jones had lost his battle with cancer just weeks before this meeting. The 4 people around the conference table bowed their heads in agreement with fond memories of Charlie. Each said a silent prayer in his memory. Then, in his accustomed boisterous manner, Buckland barked, Well, what are you going to call it? Knowing that the question would be raised, Sharon and Greg stood and walked to the head of the table. As you know, as Mr. Buckland originally suggested to me, I've jotted notes from every interview and recorded almost every moral learned along this ride, Greg said proudly. With that said, the title seems quite obvious, Sharon put in. She took the notepad and slid it across the table like a schooner of beer in an old West saloon. Everyone read the words handwritten on the cover of the notebook, which itself was stained and dog-eared from constant use. They laughed, applauded, and agreed. That's perfect. As they stood to say their goodbyes at the conclusion of the conference, they shared warm hugs and words of appreciation. Buckland came over to Greg and offered him a token that only he would understand. In a matter-of-fact way, Buckland handed Greg the very same jacket that Greg had returned to him at his office when they had first met. Here, he whispered. I think this belongs to you. Accepting the gift without any fanfare, the young student knew exactly what the gesture meant. The student was becoming the teacher, and with this symbolic gesture, he was stepping into the next chapter in his life. Reaching down to the conference table, Greg picked up his pad with a smile on his face. Walking out the door, he looked back and saw the same warm smile on Jonathon Buckland's face. He rubbed his fingers across the letters written on the cover so long ago. They seemed to summarize the entire process, the years of struggle, the lack of direction in his life, the gift of Buckland's mentorship, the renewed relationship with Mia, David's miraculous turnaround with the help of a higher power, the incredible stories of perseverance and achievement, and the ability to share his newly acquired knowledge with others. What a journey it had been! And who knew what lay ahead for him and those in his life? Who would have guessed that the same words whispered by his mentor in their very first meeting would have so inspired his own path to success? Sliding the pad into his new coat pocket, Greg smiled to himself at the words that said it all, reminding him that he was always 3 feet from gold.
Aww, that's awesome.
Remember that your real wealth can be measured not by what you have, but by what you are. Napoleon Hill.
Like it.
Epilogue. Our journey continues. Through the process of writing this book, Greg employed the principles of success he learned from the entrepreneurs he had interviewed. His journey is a true example of the principle: never give up. It is our sincere hope that 3 feet from gold brings you the same encouragement and motivation to believe in yourself and find your own personal success equation. Combine your passion and talent, take action with the right association, and above all else, have faith that you are on the right path.
Yes.
The sum of P plus T times A plus F equals your success equation.
Like it.
May you be blessed with success. Don't quit. It truly is your turn. Working with the Napoleon Hill Foundation and the many successful people we've encountered has been so rewarding that we are thrilled to have the opportunity to continue our journey together. While writing 3 feet from gold, we realize that fear is often the biggest obstacle to success. Napoleon Hill recognized this. In Think and Grow Rich, Hill identified 6 stumbling blocks that he called the ghosts of fear. We will explore the fears that render people unable to convert ideas and opportunities into action. Without action, ideas are not worth a cent. We'd like to find out how successful people were able to overcome their fears and restore their faith. We expect this wisdom to help us and you when faced with the challenges that go along with taking risks and following your passions. As you get out and formulate your own success equation, you may find yourself confronting fear and doubt too. How you choose to handle them will determine your progress and ultimately your success. We invite you to join us in this next chapter of our journey. Greg S. Reid and Sharon L. Lechter.
All right, let's stop it right there. I think that's a good place to stop. Go back here. Okay. Wow. Really good stuff. Definitely come back tomorrow because there is still more left in this great book. But I hope you guys are really, really, really getting this as much as I am. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very inspired to just keep going, keep pushing forward. All the answers that you have are right there. It's just knowing where to look, right? And they say when the student is ready, the answers are all around you, and the teacher will reveal itself. But I also believe that the answers are always all around you. It can come from any direction. You just have to be open and coachable to listen. Yeah, so just come back again tomorrow because there's going to be some more great information, and I just really appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. I know hearing my coughing and congestions, it's been a bit of a challenge, but I'm here. I'm still here. And that's the thing. I'm going to show up regardless. That's my commitment to you guys. And I'm just glad to have you guys along for the ride. If you haven't already, make sure that you do like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this great content. And until next time, you guys make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.